Hi class, and welcome to week 12. This is an asynchronous module, meaning we won't meet as a group this week, but instead this lecture will guide you through how to write your abstract for your essay. Today's big question is, how do I write my abstract? So today we're going to talk about four things. What is an abstract? When do you write it? Where does it go in your paper? And what are the parts of an abstract? First, let's begin with what is an abstract. An abstract is a short summary of a longer work, such as your thesis. The abstract consistently reports the aims and outcomes of your research, so the readers know exactly what your paper is about. Although the structure may vary slightly depending on your discipline, your abstract should describe the purpose of your work, the methods you've used, and the conclusions you've drawn. When do you write your abstract? Well, as you're getting close to the end of your draft or when it's finished, you should start writing your abstract. Why do we wait until the end? Well, it is possible as you're going through your draft that something changes. You could even change your entire thesis. You could change your outline and emphasize certain points and de-emphasize others. So it's best to wait until the end if you want to summarize your paper. Where does the abstract go? So if you look at the example provided here, you see the title page on the left, then comes the abstract, and then you start with your introduction. The abstract goes in between the title page and the start of your paper. It is double-spaced. Let's take a look at the sample abstract from the sample paper we've been reading in class. This is the one on early childhood education, and I think it would benefit us to read through it so we can get a sense of how it flows. Early childhood education, ECE, stands as a foundational pillar in shaping a child's cognitive, social, and emotional development. This essay therefore argues for the expansion and enhancement of quality early childhood education services. Quality ECE has been demonstrated to play a role in children's cognitive and social emotional well-being, as well as in their health and long-term wage earning prospects. Society also benefits through a reduction in crime. Parental involvement may enhance the impact of ECE on children. An investment in and prioritization of early childhood education through increased funding, increased community engagement and collaboration, policy reforms, increased professional development for educators, and a research agenda focused on ECE would offer every child the opportunity to thrive. There's a lot going on in this abstract, so we're going to examine it in pieces. First, let's consider the four parts of an abstract. Your abstract should have these four parts. It should have an introductory sentence that introduces your topic. If your topic is AI, or if your topic is expulsion, if your topic is homework, whatever your topic is, it should be introduced. Then you write a sentence or two that takes a position that matches your thesis. Depending on the way you've written your thesis statement, this could even be your thesis statement, but it should take a position. Then it should very briefly provide a few sentences that preview the evidence you will present in your thesis, your supporting evidence for your position. Finally, it should very briefly, and I say briefly, summarize recommendation and wrap things up. You'll notice that the abstract was no more than a paragraph or two at the most. It shouldn't go on and on and on because it's not your paper. It previews what you're going to say in your paper. Let's look at the sample abstract, each of these parts, how they were done. First of all, there's an introductory sentence. Early childhood education, ECE, stands as a foundational pillar in shaping a child's cognitive, social, and emotional development. So this immediately alerts the reader to the fact that this essay is going to be about early childhood education. This isn't the only way you can write an introductory sentence, so you can be creative, but just be careful to introduce your topic. The next sentence takes a position that matches the author's thesis. This essay therefore argues for the expansion and enhancement of quality early childhood education services. You can almost see the should question here that the author was trying to answer. Should early childhood education services be expanded? Then there come one or two or three sentences that preview the supporting evidence. Again, this has to be very brief. For example, quality education, early childhood education, has been demonstrated to play a role in children's cognitive and social emotional well-being, as well as their health and long-term wage earning prospects. Society also benefits through a reduction in crime. So automatically, when I read this essay, I expect to see something about the benefits to children's learning, their social emotional well-being, their health, their earning prospects, and a reduction in crime. So those are the previews. Notice you don't elaborate on those, you just list them. The last thing is to briefly summarize your recommendations and wrap things up. For example, an investment in and prioritization of early childhood education through increased funding, increased community engagement and collaboration, policy reforms, increased professional development for educators, and a research agenda focused on ECE would offer every child the opportunity to thrive. So immediately when I read this, I'm alerted to the fact that the author is going to recommend certain things. They've taken a position that they support early childhood education, and now they're going to argue for increased funding, community engagement and collaboration, policy reforms, increased professional development, and a research agenda. Notice that those aren't elaborated on, they're just listed very briefly. Look at the last part of that last sentence. Would offer every child the opportunity to thrive. That's just kind of a nice little way to tie the bow on the abstract to finish it up. This could be a separate sentence or two if you want, sort of a conclusion. This author did it just by tacking it on to the end of the recommendations. So that's it. You'll write your abstracts and submit it with your draft. So let's see what the next steps in the course are. First of all, you're going to complete this module, the only other thing besides this lecture are the discussion questions, by Tuesday, April 23rd. We will not meet synchronously on April 23rd, and I have no meeting scheduled with you, but you should use the time to work on your essay draft. Homework 9 is actually the draft of the essay, and it is due on Tuesday, April 30th by midnight. Now, Tuesday, April 30th, we're actually going to meet as a class. So that night, we're coming together again over Zoom as a class. And in that class, I'll be discussing how to do your PowerPoint presentations. Now, it's a long time before we see each other again. I do have office hours posted on the course site. Or if you need to meet with me outside of office hours, just email me and we'll set up a time. We're in the home stretch, and I'm really pleased that you've learned so much, and I feel like you're going to cross the finish line. So keep going, everybody, and I will see you on April 30th.